Hi, welcome to this short presentation about the most expensive guitar course on the planet. No, that's not a joke. You read it correctly. $995. It's the real price of an online guitar course by Berklee Music Online called Basic Improvisation. Now, if you saw $995 and got freaked out, don't worry. I'm not trying to sell you a $1,000 guitar course. I just found it shocking and just had to share it with you. Hi, this is Kenny Salter, and if you stick with me for the next few minutes, I have something to share with you that I know you'll be interested in. How do I know? Because I asked you in a survey a few months back. I asked you what you really wanted to see in my future guitar courses, how you wanted them delivered, and a few other things. Today I want to show you what I came up with as a result of that survey. But first, let's take another quick look at that $995 course. If you're like I was when you were reading that headline in your inbox, you're probably wondering, what exactly do you get for that kind of money? Well, in this case, you get a course called Basic Improvisation. It's $995. It lasts for 12 weeks. Here's how it works. Each week they send you a video. It's one lesson a week. So you get the video. You get to correspond with your teacher on the forum. You get to ask questions and they answer your questions. You also get a PDF support sheet, like maybe a sheet music or a neck diagram or maybe a tab that supports the material that you learn in the lesson. The lessons are based on blues soloing or blues improvising. And the first couple lessons, I'll read these out to you. It's what notes do I play? Playing the C pentatonic scale. Improvising from the melody, call and response. Melodic phrasing. Playing 2 notes, playing 3 notes. Hooking up with a band rhythmically. Playing in time, adding anticipation. Lesson 4, minor blues. The A minor pentatonic scale, riff blues, lyric blues, and rhythmic motifs. Lesson 5, melodic motif. And then it goes on, lesson 6, 7, 8, and on and so on. So you can read those for yourself if you want, but the basic idea here I wanted to show you is that there's 12 lessons. They're charging $995 for this. And I wanted you to take a look at that and see what you're getting for that. And I know, if you're like me, you'd never consider paying $995 for a guitar course. I wanted to kind of compare, though, what they're offering you for $995 and what I'm offering you for a whole lot less. Alright, so let's take a look at my new course, Blues Improv Basics. By the way, this course cost way less than $995. In fact, stick with me till the very end of the video because I think you'll be really surprised at the price that I'm about to offer you for this. Alright, this is a brand new website called Guitar Player Academy. This is the new home of all of my new lessons. The first course that I'm bringing to you at this site is Blues Improv Basics, Module 1. There are 15 lessons in this module already, plus 2 theory lessons. I put those at the top because those are prerequisites to doing the course. Just gives you a brief understanding of how to build chords from what I call the root scale, and then how to build chords from what I call the parent scale. I won't get into all the lesson right now. You can see that when you join the site, but briefly, though, we've got 15 weeks of lessons coming at you. We're talking about blues improvising. We're starting with simple lessons like 2 pentatonic shapes, the major and minor function, pentatonic 5th and 3rd shape in one position, parallel minor. Parallel minor is like going from C major to C minor versus going from relative minor, which is like C major to A minor. Okay, so that's a pretty cool concept, and it's very useful. Then we have chord markers, which is like the day system that you may have learned in Guitar in 60 Seconds. It's a little simpler, though, and I think you might enjoy the way I taught that in this system, even if you know that lesson already. Getting to know the 5th shape, getting to know the 3rd shape. And then you can read the rest of these if you'd like, but they're just basically very simple ideas about how to do blues improv. And really, it's about improvising in general, using the blues as a jumping off point, because we're going to be able to take some of the stuff we learn and move it into some other harmonies later on. I'll go over each of those lessons in detail in a minute, but first let's talk about who Blues Improv Basics is for. It's for any guitar player wanting to learn how to play improvised solos, riffs, and fills, and wants to get started right away. Or you could be someone who improvised somewhat but don't feel like you're on the right track and would like to get all that corrected. You could be an experienced player who improvises pretty well but would like to get to the next level. At minimum, if you can play a C open chord in simple pentatonic scale pattern, then you're ready to get started with this course. Blues Improv Basics is a series of lessons that focuses on reducing the amount of information, i.e. scales, you have to think about while trying to create interesting melodic ideas in your soloing. You really can't focus or think too much about scales and things like that when you're playing. When you read interviews and stuff about people, it seems like that's what they're doing because that's how they talk about it, but it's really not what they're doing at all. So let's take a look at how it's done. There are 4 basic scales that make up the melodies found in blues tunes. 1 is the pentatonic scale, 2 is Mixolydian, 3 is Dorian, and 4 is the blues scale. Now, the Mixolydian and Dorian are 5-note versions of these scales. Don't let that freak you out. You'll see what I'm talking about later on in the course, but it's something that we're doing to these scales so that we can create something called scale fragments. So hold on, we'll get to that. These 4 scales can be considered alterations of the major scale. In fact, the basis for all melody is the major scale, which defines the tonality or key center of a tune to our ear. These 4 blues sounds are derived from the major scale tonality by modifying or altering the major scale by doing one of 3 things. Modifying and altering the scale just means to change it. So we're changing it by doing one of these 3 things: subtracting notes, altering or substituting chromatic notes for diatonic notes. Chromatic just means a note that's sitting right next to a diatonic note. Diatonic just means one of the notes in the 7-note scale. So when you have a note sitting right next to it, either a half step above or below, that's called chromatic. All right, number 3, adding new tones to the major scale. Those are notes that just don't belong to the scale. Okay, each of these 4 scales can be split into 2 3-note groups. Each group is arranged so that there's an interval of a fourth between the first and third notes. We call these groups scale fragments. Scale fragments allow you to change scales or sounds more rapidly as you improvise. When you play melodic ideas with just a few notes, those notes will work over a larger number of chords and keys. On the other hand, when you play complete 7-note scales, your ideas are locked into one key center only. So now, instead of approaching improv by memorizing the various scales that play over the chords, you can avoid that trap by using the 3-note scale fragments instead. All 4 of these fragments can be visualized using just 2 pentatonic scale patterns in a single position on the neck. So instead of thinking about changing scales, you can concentrate on using your ear to hear these 3-note fragments of the pentatonic and blues scale. These scale fragments greatly reduce the amount of information you have to keep up with while you're soloing, freeing up your brain's processing power for creating good melodic ideas in your solos. This approach is the fastest way to get a complete clear picture of the neck, so you'll always know exactly what you can play from any string, any fret, in any key when soloing over a blues tune. So how are the lessons delivered? All of the lessons consist of streaming videos and PDF scale or chord charts, or tabs, depending on what is necessary for that lesson. The online classroom instruction format gives you some big advantages over other ways of learning. For one, there's no time limits. You can pause the video anytime to practice an idea. You can rewind and review any section as much as it takes. Your instructor isn't going anywhere. You don't need to feed him. You don't need to give him coffee. Just put the video on pause, rewind, and continue whenever or wherever you're ready to learn. You can also take advantage of the video coaching classes where you can get direct feedback from your instructor. The point is, you're in control of your own learning experience. Alright, I can hear you say it now. Kenny, I like what you're saying, so how much is this going to cost me? Well, like I said, it won't cost you anywhere near $995. So your spouse won't have to bury you in the backyard for buying it. You won't pay $500 or even $199. Not $149, not $99, and no, not even $49.95. Right now, my customers and loyal subscribers will get access to Blues Improv Basics and every single guitar course I release from now on, except for one printed book project I have planned for January 2011. Alright, you'll also get my personal coaching classes at no additional charge, so you can work through the courses right along with me and the other GPA students. I thought about charging $29.95 a month. Then I thought $19.95 a month would be a better choice, since that's what everyone else is charging for their memberships. But I wanted to blow away what they were doing, so I decided on the price of just $14.95 a month. But wait, if you'll do me a personal favor and tell 3 friends about Guitar Player Academy, I'll return the favor by cutting your price even further. So how much is a membership going to cost you? Alright, ready? How about just $7.95 per month? That truly is a steal. Your membership is month to month. You can cancel anytime. And you get to lock in this price permanently for as long as you stay a member. The price is limited to the first 500 members. We already have 994 people on our email list who've been waiting for GPA to open up, so this membership should fill up pretty fast, especially at this price. I want you to know that this is the very best offer I could ever make to you. I'm doing it because times are tough for all of us these days, and I want everyone to have access to these lessons. Every guitar course I create from now on will be included in the GPA lesson library, plus the personal coaching for just $7.95 per month, for as long as you're a member. Please pay it forward by letting 3 of your friends know about GPA, even if they don't play the guitar, they probably know someone who's interested in learning how. Here's where you go to join, guitarplayeracademy.com/join-now. You can type or copy paste this URL into your web browser to go to the order page. We accept Visa, MasterCard, and Discover, and we also accept PayPal. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you learned something new and valuable. If you're ready to join but have a few questions that you need answered first, just send an email to kenny@guitarplayeracademy.com and I'll get back to you right away. God bless you. Join Guitar Player Academy today for just $7.95 per month for the life of your membership. As long as you remain a member, your price will stay $7.95. Go to guitarplayeracademy.com, join/now. And thanks for watching again, and God bless you.